Neil Postman wrote this amazing book back in 1985 called Amusing Ourselves to Death. And we just went through a bunch of lines. Let me just give a couple quick ones. Oh, so his main thesis is that our future is not going to be George Orwell's 1984 with this all-powerful, imposing big brother forcing you to do things. His vision is Huxley's Brave New World. He said, in Brave New World, oh, wait, hold on. Where's the first part of it? He said, in Brave New World, all right, here we go. All right, in 1984, George Orwell said that people will be controlled by inflicting pain. In Brave New World, they will be controlled by inflicting pleasure. We have our alert up for a all-powerful government that will impose pain on us. We're on guard for that. And that's good. Be on guard for that. But we're not on guard for all-powerful forces that will control us by inflicting pleasure. We're just like, oh, fun app, fun video. This is good. This is no problem here. But that's Huxley's point, is that no, that's how they will control you. Orwell feared that what we fear will ruin us. Huxley feared that what we desire will ruin us. And that we will come, this is 1985, he said we will come to adore the technologies that undo our capacity to think. All right, so that's what we did in the last hour. Let's keep this party going. And then I want to talk about addiction as well, because I have an addictive personality. So there's 3 things in particular I think of whenever I'm about to be addicted to something, or whenever I feel like I am addicted to something. Let's go to Ryan, who's in Ohio. Hey, Ryan, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How are you today?
Really good. Thanks for calling in. What do you think about banning TikTok? Votes today.
Well, I don't think, first of all, I love the show. Good show. Man. I start my morning out with it every day. So
You're addicted.
Maybe. I don't want to give government this much power. What's to stop them from shutting something else down that they don't like, mainly conservatives, because they're all assault on us. So as a libertarian, I don't want to give them that much power. They already have enough of it.
Yeah. No, and Ryan, I appreciate that, and I appreciate that instinct. I want to say one thing here, there's no attacking. No one's attacking anyone in this conversation. I'm not mad at anyone. No one would be mad at me. Some guy called me a communist in the last hour. No, just joking. I appreciate all the instincts that everyone has had who's called in. Like the main calls yesterday were like, oh, this is a parent's responsibility. Oh, love that instinct. Lean into that. Love this libertarian instinct. Like, I don't want to give the government the power. Listen, we talk about the slippery slope all the time on this show. Like, always be wary of the slippery slope. Like, this is all good. And I understand this concern very much, that once you give them the power to do this, then you give the government the power to do no. To me, it's not even that we're banning an app. It's we're giving the federal government the position, the power to kill a weapon of war. Like to me, the weapon of war happens to be an app, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's like, well, the government already has the power and should have the power to prevent massive propaganda arms into the minds of 170 million Americans. It's like banning fentanyl. It's like, I don't want to give the government the power to ban fentanyl. I don't want to make the government more powerful by making surface-to-air missile defense systems. I don't want it, because once they start making surface-to-air missile defense systems, they're going to start using it against us. And you know what I mean? Like, to me, this isn't just like a silly little app. This is something that is already within the proper realm of government stopping. It is like fentanyl. It is like a missile. This would be like, what was it? It was a Japanese company. I wonder what the update of this is. But the Japanese company bought the biggest American steel company. And even like when this Japanese company bought this American steel company, I'm like, I don't know if that's great, actually. I don't know if we should be outsourcing our steel making to the Japanese company, right? So like, let's talk about that. If a Chinese company bought that, I'd be like, no, like what? Like, What if they got Listen, it's bad enough that we've outsourced the making of cranes to China. China made 80% of the cranes at our ports are made by China, and there was just an audit the other day. We haven't even gotten to it. We will. That these cranes have these communication devices put in them. And China's like, what, us? Like, yeah, we should ban that. Oh, once you give the government the power to ban cranes, then you give the government the power, like, no. These are our enemies. They want to destroy you. This is how they're doing it. All right. That's Brian in Florida's concern as well. And again, I appreciate this struggle. That's why I love talking about this stuff as well, because I really love things that you're like, but this, and I think Brian's in that same boat. Hey, Brian, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing this morning?
Good, man. What's on your mind about banning TikTok?
So, again, torn here a little bit, like your last caller. And mine's more the worry of what happens next if they do ban it. I mean, my understanding is they banned Chinese ownership, and people are talking about buying it. So, the slippery slope, they just, let people marry who they want to marry. Now we have to deal with, minor attractive persons. What happens when the government gets to say who owns what company? So you start A, and we always end up down at the end of the slope. So when with the government, again, I get it, it's the Chinese, and I agree with that, but I'm torn because of that fact, not what happens on this, but what happens 10 years down the road once this precedent is set.
Yep. Very well said, very well articulated. Again, really appreciate that. Instinct. I'm the king of the slippery slope. My line is the slippery slope is not only real, it's undefeated. My line here is China. And by the way, I believe the bill says that that the TikTok would have to be bought by a non-adversarial country. I don't even think it says it has to be bought by an American company. So if Nintendo wanted to buy TikTok, I think that would be like it's just China. We just hate China, or really, China hates you. China's the problem. All right, let's see. Let's go to Milton, who is in New York. Hey, Milton, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me. I absolutely agree. TikTok needs to be banned. I just don't understand how the American people, they've lost their common sense. China is stealing everything from us, our intelligence, and now our common sense. I absolutely agree with you. It should be banned.
Listen, it's funny. When you said intelligence, my first thought was like our brain power.
Yeah,
right? No, that was like literally like making us dumber was my first thought you meant by that. But I like intelligence in both regards. What do you make of what would be your rebuttal to the slippery slope argument? Oh, we're giving the power of the government to do this and this. What do you think?
Well, we you know what? We could worry about that later on, but we need to take care of this country first. And we see what's going on. We see what's going on, and I know the American people, they see what's going on, and I understand why they turn a blind eye on this. Saying about freedom of speech, you got to have common sense, too.
Yeah, agreed. Milton, thank you for the call very much. Let's go to Mike, who's in New York. What's going on, Mike?
Okay, Mike, first of all, I am for banning TikTok for several reasons. One, it is not an American corporation. It is not entitled to constitutional rights, just like terrorists and illegal aliens are not entitled to constitutional rights. Second, if you have Dave Hatter on one time and ask him, even if they sold the company, I'm sure there's several back doors they can do. You got to ask a computer expert.
That's right.
That. And then there was something I heard on either the Patriot Channel that a content versus context, there were legal cases that even if you say, well, it's just free speech, but you have to look what's behind the free speech. It's a different category. You could ask Joel Pollack. He tried to say it was there's an American subsidiary playing it or something, but it's not an American corporation.
Yeah, no, Mike, thanks for that. It's funny. That's what I expected. I expected people to call in. The only reason I even thought to ask the question, should we ban TikTok or not yesterday, is I thought people were going to call in and make the argument, no, we shouldn't because First Amendment. I don't think anyone's made that argument yet, which is really interesting. No one's made the First Amendment argument, which that's the rebuttal to. It's like, oh, they're a bunch of communists in China. They don't get my First Amendment rights that my country recognizes. Like, to heck with you, commies. Like, I don't, and like that. I think this is it. This is how I view TikTok as a terrorist and an illegal immigrant. That's it. I view TikTok to me is a terrorist and an illegal immigrant. That's when I see TikTok, that's like the amount of like empathy I have for it or something. Right? A lot of people are like, oh, but I use it and it's great. Maybe that's the equivalent of, oh, but they are great at landscaping. They're great at mowing lawns and building houses, so we need illegal immigrants. or the terrorist is just a what did the Washington Post call the Allahu Akbar, or not Allahu Akbar? What was the famed religious scholar or something like that? The head of ISIS, religious scholar, shot in the head by American. So I view TikTok in the same light. Let's see, a lot of great calls here. Let's go to Michelle, who is in Pennsylvania. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, good morning.
And to you.
So I'm definitely on the side of the banning, although I am not a TikTok user. I have 3 children under the age of 10. We don't do social media at all. Stop Facebook right after the election of 2020. It's disheartening to hear people defend keeping it for the reason they're trying to accomplish their goal, which is continued addiction to the heads of big corporations, tech corporations don't let their kids use devices and these things. And we have adults who are supposed to be able to self-regulate their kids, but they're still advocating for a weapon of war. I like that statement.
Yeah. What have you seen your kids with social media and what happens to them?
They don't use it. I mean, they're little. I have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old. They know they can't use it. They know TikTok is influenced by China. They tell me about it. We talk about those things. I expose them to the dangers, and it's not going to be part of our lives.